Afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, September 11th. This is MS National Office Hours. I am Heather Cox, and with me today are
Bill Bales from Denver, Colorado. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dwayne from Florida, along with Joe here from the state of Florida. Microsoft MVP, Joe Gasper.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Show the floor is yours. So we're going to turn the cameras off and the mics. Go for it, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. Again, I'm Joe Gasper. I'm a systems administrator at the University of Florida and a Microsoft MVP for Microsoft Apps and Teams. Going to be talking to you today about managing a Microsoft 365 learning community. Affectionately, we call this Jurassic County. So I'm excited to take you on a little adventure into Jurassic County. We're going to be covering kind of the origins of Jurassic County, the evolution of it, why a community like this is important, and some tips, some tricks on how to set one up, and keep it running. I need to kind of just define this first a little bit, just because I so commonly call this, Jurassic County. So it's a learning community, Microsoft Teams, to share knowledge about Microsoft cloud services. So just big picture, keep that in your mind. That's where we're heading. I'm going to take you through building and sustaining a learning community. But we're going to start with a little bit of background on kind of some uniqueness on how this came about. Hopefully, if you decide to build some of your own, it's going to be a little different. So yeah, just definitely a little bit about the backstory of how this came about. The unique name, Jurassic County. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? But I work for the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, Central IT. That's basically a college ag. And being a land-grant institution, we also house our cooperative extension program. Cooperative extension program, kind of think of it as like what we're on right now, office hours, but for the entire state. So cooperative extension agents they'll bring their campus expertise to county fairs, to your family kitchen, help you with your finances. They can go out to farms, help farmers and growers with agriculture. Maybe in your state, you've heard of Master Gardener programs. That's extension. This map here in the middle, the green pins are our county extension offices, one in every county, 67 of them. And the red and gold pins are our research and education centers. Now, this is going to go back a while. We've been doing this for a while. Going back to 2017, Microsoft Teams gets launched, I think a little bit later in the year, maybe towards the end, launch for EDU. Same time of that, at the IFAS, this College of Ag level and this cooperative extension, we're in the need of new file server hardware refresh. We've got equipment in every county, file servers, expensive machinery scattered everywhere. These offices have 5, maybe 25 staff. They're often out of the office. They're cooperative extension agents. They're outstanding in a field, like you can see in this picture, doing their work. We're thinking with Teams and coupled with OneDrive, could they go to the cloud? Could they more easily access their data? And that's really meeting the users where they are. So that's kind of our thinking about this project. Took us about a year or so for university kind of to get settled into Teams, get it enabled. And in 2019, we got our first opportunity to present this big idea at a gathering of all of our extension agents, this symposium, annual symposium. And this kind of got the ball rolling to get this idea out. This modern workplace or modern work field. And And it also kind of started changing how we viewed our traditional systems administrator roles. Services aren't going to be running on a computer down the hall in our data center. We don't need hardware to run these future services we might be looking at. We need to change too as sysadmins, kind of step out of our cubicle comfort zone. So we had our first unveiling and training at this 2-day symposium. We loved a little bit of play on words, try to keep technology fun and light, cloudy with a chance of collaboration. Might notice a little name down there. It's a little blurry, but might notice a face there. So that's a Hyatt at a Hilton. So Dwayne Hyatt and I were on the same team for a number of years. And this was our big project. We worked together on this for quite a number of years. This is a first glimpse of this early team. So again, IFAS, Jurassic County Extension, Microsoft team. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? We've got extension agents that do horticulture, range cattle. How about some extension agents that might do something related to dinosaurs? So this is the unofficial 68th county of Florida. For the training sessions, we had this demo team. We'd walk people through how Teams works. Importantly, how they could use it maybe as a remote extension agent. So we were running live demos during this training. This first one actually over 4G LTE connection, just like our agents might work in the field. Our demos were live and real as possible. We even had an extension agent in the field on Teams Mobile. Daniel here was on our IT team and happened to be an actor at the local playhouse. We wanted to showcase Teams Mobile, upload an image, share a video. We didn't really know what he had in store for us, though. He did a little skit for us, playing this agent in the field. It was eventually eaten by dinosaurs. You might be able to find this recording on YouTube. That's kind of what got us started, this 2-day symposium. And we got really started. Lots of road trips. So this a major shift in how people work. We took our shift show on the road and met our users where they are, where they were throughout the state of Florida. Sometimes it's not too bad to go down to Key Largo. So we would go to places where extension agents were having meetings, district conferences, things like that. Show up on site, grab a room, get in front of the agents to start teaching them. These team kind of grew over the years. We weren't forcing users to join this community. Just as we got in front of them, talked about it, use it for our demos. We'd invite them in, and they would join the team. Eventually, we've cataloged, all the time we were working together, close to 7,500 miles traveling around doing that. And you can see there's a theme starting here is stats, keeping metrics, something to always kind of be thinking about in your own, if you start your own community. And kind of this is why. Why do you have to think about why you're going to do a community like this? Why are you on this call? Why do we have office hours? Things are constantly in flux and changing in Microsoft 365. So we use this community to exist and grow beyond its use as just demonstration team. Evergreen. If you've been on this call enough times, you've heard perhaps the word evergreen come up. Microsoft 365 Evergreen service. We get continuous updates. They're coming from the cloud. You're keeping your apps up to date all the time. We're not just getting security patches at once a month. We're getting real impactful improvements, features, or maybe sometimes features are taken away. So these are things that, features even you might have, but your coworker might not have yet. A lot of change and churn there that your coworkers might need help on adapting to. But that's not how it used to be, right? You remember like major changes? Office would change 2 or 3 years at a time. Menu, the ribbon might change. That was a big deal. Start menu in Windows, that used to be the big change we'd worry about. That's maybe we didn't switch over to Windows 8. Maybe you didn't make that change. But that's what we kind of used to deal with. Now this is 3 years, basically one service in Microsoft 365. The changes in it, the name changes, how to access it securely, all those just in the matter of 3 years to one service in Microsoft 365. How do you help people manage that and deal with that change and that churn? One, recognize that it's happening. And how do you do that? So one place we can go often is Microsoft's Message Center. Now, it might only be available to people who are like a global admin. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But Microsoft is telling you this is the changes that are out there. They've gotten better. Most of them are out there now. 1,400 messages in the Message Center a year we're averaging. Almost 300 of those have something to do with there's been a change that you have to have that's going to be impactful, or there's a fix that you have to make or prevent something from happening. Almost half of those get updated on top of it. So there's a change in the dates and they roll out and things like that. The Microsoft roadmap, like this is what's coming. This is what we're going to push out and change on you. 1,300 of those a year. So given this change, how do you help someone have a successful rollout of Teams or OneDrive to our extension agents with all this growing suite of tools? We knew we had to have some channel open to our users, help them embrace this change, see the new features, start taking advantage of them. Now I'm going to talk about where we did that. It's a Teams environment, again, it happens in Jurassic County. I'm going to just walk through talking about how we set up this team, how it's built. This is an old screenshot, kind of be able to see a little bit of some of the changes that have taken place over the years. Our announcement banners have definitely evolved. The channels haven't changed much. Primary ones that get used, general, Teams Talk, there's a meetings channel. Some of these other channels we've used them for demos and things like that, forms, list planner, things that we brought in and talked about. That's what the nice thing we do with this team too, is we run our demos in there. So our members can actually go back and see kind of what we did and take advantage of that. So yeah, the banners will show, hopefully gotten a little bit better. But those are just announcement posts, what's coming for the next meeting. This is what it looks like now. I'm going to go over these channels a little more in detail. Generals for announcing what's the next meeting's coming. Teams Talk is an open discussion, Q&A for members, meetings. We hold our monthly meetings in there. And Teams Tuesday Ops, that's a private channel, holds a OneNote for managing these meetings. Teams Tuesday is what these monthly meetings have always been called, and they still are. We cover way more than just Teams on these calls. The general channel, one-way broadcast of announcements. That's been moderated. We turn on moderation, so just the owners of the team can post in there. But that's what we talk about, like what's the next meeting going to be about. This is announcing the next meeting. Couple of things to point out in here. I made the use of, I'm actually tagged myself and the hosts of the team, Teams Nerds. So we have a tag where people can use that and hit the community hosts if they need to. In this post, I also tagged the team. So here's the Teams Nerds I tagged, and I also tagged the team. That's only one of two pings, basically, that members will get. The other is going to be a meeting invite that we'll talk about. So we don't constantly, we don't want to make this a super high number of notifications for people that they, leave. It's a good place to come in and chat. We're not forcing a bunch of notifications on people. These announcement banners have definitely gotten better. DALI, then we got the better GPT-4o, GPT-5 now with Copilot. So have some fun, practice some generative AI skills, take advantage of that. It helps, have this theme running throughout your sessions. People like to see these, see what I've come up with. So have some fun with those banners. The Teams Talk meeting channel is this open to members, post questions, get help all throughout the month, anytime. On this one, I got tagged on. Person was looking for me, but we've got, again, people in this community who've joined, listened, learned, and can go out and help other members. So someone else was able to come in and perfectly answer that. So that's a great way to see this community is working. Your community member managers aren't always the ones answering everything. And a little bit before we go into the kind of the meat of the team, the meeting, cover a few Teams settings. So we've grown. This one you can see we've grown. We're approaching a little old, but approaching about 1,250 members in this team. Some settings to make. One thing that I found is helpful to get a team join code. Have a team join code, and I placed it in the description of the team. It's helpful for other members to easily find that. It's right in the info pane of the team. They can go grab that, give that out to other people, help people to find that and discover that. You want to have a well-managed team. You want to have this locked down so that team members aren't creating channels and helping get people confused and stuff like that. So keep it locked down. We turn off app mentioning at the team and channel level. Again, we don't want that to actually kind of get overused by team members. Generate that team code, share that out so people can join easily. When somebody does join, we've got a flow that runs. A welcome message gets sent explaining how the team works, where to find recordings, things like that, what to expect from us. So that's been running great. The bulk of the community is a meeting, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So there's a meetings channel where these meetings are scheduled. So we're using a scheduled channel meeting. Meetings happen in the team. That really helps with, there's change and turnover all the time at a university, helping around somebody come in and able to read previous conversations around some other meeting. It's all going to be in that channel, searchable, all the meetings in one place. See this one, there's 114 posts during that meeting, people talking about the content. See there's a recordings tab at the top. We'll talk about that. And a little bit of details when you create that meeting can save you a lot of time. So a couple things I recommend is having a good pattern on the title. What I mean by that is four digits for year, dash 2 digits for the month. And in this case, we usually put whatever is the deep dive for this meeting on there. That helps with the recordings a little later on, you'll see. The other option here is to make sure you send personal invites. That gets basically an invite, and this meeting gets onto everybody's calendar. And I will put out the announcement about this into the general channel first, and then right away, I'll go and follow up with the monthly meeting, and I'll put whatever I put in the announcement, I'll drop that into the body of the message. When we record our meetings, they're getting saved into the meetings channel, into a subfolder called recordings. You want to make sure that you go in and update some permissions on that so that only your owners of the team, and if you have anybody who's like not an owner, but helping you with recordings, co-organizer and things like that, make sure they have modified permissions on their recording, and everybody else has view. That's way your recordings get saved easily and up to date, and don't accidentally, somebody goes in to view them, might accidentally edit or do something like that. Other thing we do is there's a SharePoint page in the team that has the stream web part on it. That's what you're looking at right now. I think it's in theater mode, that web part, and that's tabbed into this channel. So what that stream web part's doing is it's looking for content in this recordings folder. And because of my naming scheme, once the recording's done, it is automatically listed and shows up right on this page. I don't ever, somebody has to ask, when can I get the recording? I say you already have it. It's right there, ready to go. So that saves a lot of time, something you don't have to forget to do. And I'll go back now. I've got Teams Premium license. I like to go grab the recap, put it in the description when you go open up and watch that recording. We've been running these again since 2019. Here's some early tracking info. Again, metrics, tracking that information. It's always been word of mouth, people asking to join through our road trips, things like that. People liked, bookings came out, 168 attendees for that meeting. Here's some newer updates. Started tracking more information and replies. Looking at views of recordings, so the replies during the meetings, views of the recordings. I've done some attendee analysis because initially we were out front of and training just extension agents, and there's about 500 or so. And this team membership, is close to 1,250. Well over half are beyond like my scope of responsibility now. So people I get, gotta get paid to support. And there's some guests. So we have users from all parts of campus, all our health center, all different types of roles. I use a little PowerShell and I can kind of look at attendees' job titles. And I found that 10 to 12 people who attend are sometimes deans, directors, associate vice presidents. That can be helpful in this community, be able to talk about maybe there's a feature that you don't have turned on, we could take advantage of, or changes that are we need. We've got some VPs, some people who can help with those already attended, and maybe they've learned something about that too at the same time. So that's really helpful. Again, keep some metrics. Here's a roll up of the meeting metrics. Have to get familiar with a little bit of pivot tables, but just keeping an average. Who's been a number of attendees, our totals through the years, things like that. But how do you put together a meeting? This is where you're just going to spend the bulk of your time, depending on the topic. It could be a couple of hours over the month. It could be 8 to 10 if you're having to bring yourself up to speed on some major change. Maybe it hasn't hit yet, but you got to get prepared on that subject, or you want to build out some cool demo. So here's kind of how produce a Teams Tuesday, this monthly meeting. So it's an hour long. It typically starts with a what's new and then goes into a deeper dive on a major change, specific service. For what's new, I like to keep it to something that's recently released. Maybe not everybody has it yet. Some are starting to see it. We know it's rolling out or should hit our users maybe by the next meeting. Microsoft likes to move release dates. So try to go with it. Maybe you've seen that's been released, something that when a user leaves a meeting, they might be able to go out and try it. So again, 1 hour long. Don't forget to hit record. Begin with what's new, 15, 30 minutes typically, followed by main topic. And then open discussion time after we stop the recording. And that's open mic, anybody can talk, help people out. So tracking what's new, that's a significant portion of our meeting. So OneNote is my trapper keeper. Over the month, as I come across updates, news posts, roadmap items, I drop it into a brain dump for the month. Or sometimes something's not releasing yet. I'll move it maybe to the next month. I think it's coming soon. And then when it gets closer to our meeting, I'll go through this brain dump, double check things, start getting them in order, and I'll move that content up to the month. And that will be our script now, basically, for that meeting. Where do you get this information? How do you figure out what's new, what's coming? One, keep attending office hours like you're on. Great information. Know what's important that's coming. There's other office hours, similar ones. Like OneDrive has office hours that tell you what is happening, changes that are coming. There's some great YouTube influencers out there. Microsoft's got a number of them that are out there pushing content around what's new, what's hit, how it works. Really important to take advantage of that. Right inside of your apps, right inside of Teams. Go to Help. There's a What's New. Outlook. You can find that information in there. Tech community. So Microsoft Tech Community.microsoft.com. There's Forms, has blogs. Excel is a blog. There's an Insiders coming. There's an EDU one. There's also a tag in the tech community for what's new. And most of the time, a new blog post from one of these other services will tag it what's new. You've got one place to go and look at what's new across all of these services. The Microsoft Roadmap. There is a Microsoft Education Insiders. It's a team that you can request to join. A lot of good information in there. There's usually there's some monthly meetings. A lot of those you don't even need to be a member of this team. They do post them eventually to YouTube. There is some NDA information in there too. And adoption.microsoft.com is a great place to go look for topics around what Microsoft says and thinks is important about their services, their big services you'll find in there. Other thing, RSS feeds. So a lot of these have an RSS feed. Put it into your favorite reader. You can have a flow that can look at an RSS feed and push that maybe into a team somewhere. Microsoft Message Center. It's in the admin center. So typically this is going to be just global admins. I'm not a global admin for my main organization, but there are reader roles. There are roles you could be provided perhaps to see the message center. There's a weekly digest email. Maybe you could be asked to be added to that. But this is going to be that fire hose of information of changes that are happening. And it's going to be detailed for your tenant. So like an enterprise tenant, especially versus an EDU tenant, timings of releases of things are different and stuff like that. So if you go out onto the internet, there are some great places. Meryl Fernando, Microsoft program manager, extraordinary with the amount of tooling that he develops for us to use. He's got a message center archive. There's some other services out here. You can get a weekly pulse, a weekly digest. There's such so much churn. There's an industry around this with Change Pilot, a really great service that helps probably a little bit more at the global admin level, but it can look into all this churn and change. So those are some things to help you decide what you should be talking about next, what you should be thinking about. How do you get your topic? Where do you come up with the topic, the main topic of the month? Well, right in your waffle, right in your app launcher. Click that, look, there's like your next 2 years of what you could be talking about. And that's really how we ran a lot of our early sessions is, here's a service. Let's talk about forms. How do we use forms? Let's talk about Power Automate. How do we connect that into Microsoft lists and things like that? Just going through this list, there's so many tools. easily you got 2 years right there. Maybe major impacts. So you've got a major impact, like when new teams hit, when Copilot hit, those are going to be your sessions. Fundamentals, so something that every once in a while, it took us quite a while to actually have a repeat of sessions. There's so much information, but maybe a fundamental once a year, do something on the major services teams, how to run a good meeting, planner. People love planner, and maybe think about bringing in a subject matter expert on a service. Reach out to MVPs on those types of some service you're getting questions about, because this is evergreen, it's ever changing. So thank you. Go build an engaging Microsoft 360 community at your institution. Thank you very much. I hope you have a chance to get out there, help your users go beyond adapting, help them thrive. So thank you for your time. And yes, slides with all those links are already available. Go at it at the link there. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joe. I know that you and Dwayne were partners in crime for a very long time. I'm sorry I stole him, but we've appreciated him on this side of the fence. But thank you so much for your time and energy. And as you said at the beginning, anybody on this call knows the importance of communities. That's probably why you come back to it, because there's something about the community that's important. So I think what they've done over there is amazing. So consider that at your school and institution, and get those communities started little by little. Or we've got a joke. There we go. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having those slides ready for everybody to grab. That's incredible. I'll get this up on YouTube, and we will see y'all again next week. In 2 weeks, we are out. We will not be here in 2 weeks, but next week we are here. So hope to see you all next week, and I'll go ahead and kick y'all out for the time being. So have a great evening or afternoon, and we'll see you later. Bye, y'all.
See everybody. Bye.